What is good, everybody? This is the first of quite a few videos that we're going to make based on the JCWA meetings that we're going to be having. As most of you already know, Aaron Benam and Jonathan Rojas will be taking over the JCWA. So there's actually a ton of things, that we all have to get clear because, I'm not going to be in charge of it anymore. I'm not going to even be working on it anymore. So, there everyone's gonna have to be on the same page in order for this to work. In the room, I got rookie Brandon Cox, fellow elite Damian Jenkins, and as I said before, co-owner of the new JCWA, Aaron Bernard. We just recently came up with the name. We figured JCWA Brawl, would be a good name for it. You know what I'm saying? It's simple, but at the same time, I think it's a pretty decent name, and why not? So the next thing I want to talk about is if this is going to be weekly or bi-weekly. I say bi-weekly only because it gives you guys a little more time to do it, a little more time to set everything up and plan everything. However, on the other side, the weekly shows are going to be, based on how you guys do it, it's going to be really quick to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where are you leaning more towards, weekly or bi-weekly?
I'm feeling more towards the weekly shows, mostly concerned because each week I want to see somebody's progress.
Okay, and that's fair.
I'm more concerned about by each time I see somebody progress more and more is who I'm going to focus on more and more for bigger opportunities and more chances to be in the spotlight. But if I do it every 2 weeks, then not only will it back up more of the videos that we will start editing and most of the storylines as well, we want to also give at least the audience something to look forward to. I mean, the whole promo thing that we used to do by ourselves, everything else, it's all fun and dandy. We could still do it here and there just to keep the fans entertained, but at the same time, I also want to keep the main priority of what's going on. I don't want to backtrack from one person to get confused with one storyline, and then they actually get the wrong idea with somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling more towards the weekly, but that's just me. I need to know how everybody else's schedule is first before I can make the final call on that.
Well, if you're going to do weekly, I suggest really getting used to the fact that you guys are going to be on schedule. This is one thing I told Rojas, and it's really hard to do this meeting without Rojas here because all of this stuff we're talking about kind of needs to get through him because he's going to actually be the editor and he owns the video equipment, and it's probably going to be at his spot where the weekly shows are going to happen. What I suggested location-wise for the weekly shows is doing backstage segments and things like that at Rojas's building, and then actual matches maybe at Lorenzo's building. You know what I'm saying? Just because Rojas's building is definitely not big enough for matches. He doesn't have, he has this little narrow hallway and then he has a staircase. So it's
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so that is one thing I suggest, is to do things like that. Another thing, if it is going to be weekly, which, again, we have to consult Jonathan Rojas about this because he's going to be the one editing it, we have to make sure it's not too hard to put together, and put online. Because, say for instance, the show is going to happen on Wednesdays. That's going to be the online date, not the shooting date.
Exactly.
And let's say the shooting date is on Friday. So, that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 5 days, for you and Rojas to, go from shooting it to it being ready to go online. And Rojas, I cannot stress this enough. You need to stay on schedule. You need to. If you don't, you're going to mess up the flow of everything. It's going to be like a domino effect. If this one's late, the next one's going to be late. And then you're trying to catch up to that one, and it's just going to keep going on and on. If you guys are going to pick a shooting day and a upload day, you have to make sure no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what is happening, you can always reach that date. That's how big of a... Because this is a weekly show. It's not like how it has been, which is every 2 months, every 3 months. With that, it was we had all this time to get prepared. Here, if we're gonna do a weekly show, people have a week, and then the next week they have to do it and stuff. So, like, if you and Rojas do agree on a day for the weekly show, I want to make sure that it's realistic for both of you. It's something that he can do, he can put up. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna do a weekly show, it should be very short. I would say maybe a half an hour at the most.
Yeah, 30 to 35 minutes.
Exactly. Maybe like a match. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is how I'm thinking it for right now. Each weekly show at least have like.
Talk a little louder.
Well, so far only for each weekly show, I'm thinking of doing either one match to start off the show, or maybe a promo, and then a main event match to end it off. Because I'm only going to keep it to 2 simple matches. The rest will be segments, controversies, all that stuff. It's going to involve that.
Okay, so based on your work schedule, like, how close to I guess the day do they usually notify you? Because
Unfortunately, it's normally on the Monday mornings when we find out our new schedules. But I did say, however, right now I'm at a point where I'm on probation, where I can't do nothing because I'm still new to the job.
Okay.
So that I can't give an exact day when and where. But as soon as I find out the days that I am off, I can alert everybody else who I'm working with on the days that I'm available. And if they're available, we can do a shooting date. And then the day that I'm off, if Rojas is off, we can edit the videos.
Okay, so you're basically saying the shooting day will vary depending on the week. That's what you're saying. Like, it won't be like, yeah, thank you. It won't be like every Friday or every Thursday or every Wednesday. Like, what you're telling me is that it's going to be different depending on the week.
Exactly.
Okay, so especially if we're going to do that, we have to make sure that no matter what day you guys pick, you always basically have enough days for Rojas to put it together before he puts it online. Because if you're going to do a weekly show, the upload date has to always be the same.
Of course.
Like, let's say JCWA Wednesday Night Brawl. Every Wednesday, people are going to be expecting it. People are going to be like, where is it, blah, blah, blah. And if, that fails, then people are going to lose interest. They're going to be like, okay, well, sometimes they're on point, and then sometimes, like, they slack, or sometimes, it's on Thursday or Friday or something like that, and that's not good, unless it's, like, maybe, like, a technical issue, and, like, it can't like, be avoided. I would suggest making sure that whenever you pick a day, that you and Rojas will have enough time between shooting and uploading to make that happen.
All right.
That'd be
You know what I'm
quite
saying?
hectic.
Yeah. Also, you should definitely help Rojas with putting it together. 2 heads are definitely better than 1. What you can do is probably right after you shoot a weekly show, you guys should just get started working on it. Why? Because, if you don't, it may linger, or I'll get to it this day, I get to it that day. Like, I think editing should happen either the day of or, a little after. And I'm sure you don't mind going to Rojas' house and helping him, but at the same time, Rojas, and this is to you, you have to understand how important communication is. You know what I'm saying? If there's a point where you can't do something, you have to let Aaron know. You know what I'm saying? That you're in a bigger position now. With me, it can slide because there's not much on your plate. Now, anytime Aaron hits you up, even if you're at work, at some point, text him. Hey, I'm at work, I'll call you later. Or, hey, I can't do such and such that day. Communication is going to be the most important thing that you guys are going to do for this weekly show. If you and Aaron are not communicating correctly, then it's not going to happen. It's not going to work out. You constantly need to be in communication. Hey, Rojas, I'm coming through this day. Hey, Aaron, this day's not good. How about this day? Things like that. You guys have to, I'm sure you guys have each other's numbers, right?
Yeah.
You guys have each other's Facebooks. You both are running this now. You both are taking over, and you both are consistent now. This is a schedule thing now. This is something where you have to have a product out every Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be tough. That's why I suggest not too much in these weekly shows. If you guys are going to do 2 matches, Don't make them too long. You know what I'm saying? Have them be quick. You know, throwing some back starts. Like, you guys have to. It's gonna be hard, but you guys have to learn how to like put awesomeness in like a small time frame. Like, how can you make this compelling? How can you make this look good, but do it really quickly? And that's probably gonna be the biggest challenge. I even have problems with that. I can never fucking make anything long shorter than 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, we have done the VBWs from the past, and I've already seen how it works. So I'm pretty much going to use from what we did from years back to the JCWA now.
yeah,
It's mostly going to be more about interactions, controversies, segments, promos, and only two simple matches really. And that can all get framed at least into within the 35-minute range, or maximum probably at least 35 to 40, depending on what's going on.
yeah,
And that won't be a problem.
yeah.
But other than that, that's pretty much how it won't be like that hard to deal with. So that, as far as like the weekly shows going on, I'm feeling it more towards the weekly, like I said. But
Okay.
it all depends on how Rojas' schedule is and how mine's is. But most importantly, how the people's
That's gonna be
schedule is as
wrestling,
well.
exactly. Because
If
without
their
the
schedule-
wrestlers, doesn't matter.
without their days of being available, it's gonna be hard to do the show.
exactly. Another thing I want you and Rojas to be prepared for, and I will be saying this multiple times. Be prepared for people to not show up sometimes, and be prepared to retaliate and come up with something on the spot. You know what happens. I know what happens. No matter what, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be times where some fucking oddball is not gonna make it to something, and then you gotta change things around. Luckily, what's good about weekly shows is the matches could be whatever because it's a weekly show. There's no rivalries really put into it. It's you could just put anyone against anyone, but you also want to create rivalries because of it. One example of that, Jonathan Ortiz just turned face, as you know, so he's going to be going against heels. I want him and Jalen Taylor to start kind of like a thing going on, mostly because, they've been buddies and now Ortiz is face, so realistically they would be enemies now. And then, like, if you guys feel that is a rivalry worth kind of keeping around, like, never put them one-on-one until, like, an event. Like a big event, for the weekly shows, you know how put them in tag matches against each other in a triple threat, fatal four ways. Keep lingering and keep it going on, and that's gonna be another thing, with Brandon Cox over here too, with Morgan Wolf, with Jalen Taylor, everybody that's gonna be a part of it. As long as everybody has something to do and it's interesting, then everything's all good.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And as for you guys, what do you think about what we are saying so far about the weekly show? And is there anything you guys would like to suggest to Aaron, Benam, or Jonathan Rojas?
Well, I'll say something. Personally, generally, but the first thing I want to say is that what time will these weekly shows
That's another thing.
be going on for? Like, will it be like 8 o'clock, like as usual? No, will it be like from 9 to a certain time, like 10? Because I know that these will be like quick shows and everything, but also with people that's gonna be difficult coming in and whatnot. What's the duration of these shows that we're expecting?
Yeah, that's definitely another thing, and I feel that it's most likely going to be like at a late time, because
since we are entering the fall, and normally when it starts hitting the fall, or at least when it hits like the cold seasons, it starts getting dark very quickly. So to me, I rather start doing the shows at least probably like either around 7 or 8ish, around there. So at least it gives people time to at least to get home and not worry about coming through the doorways or interfering, where we have to stop because somebody's either going to come through or they're walking by the camera or past the camera, like that. So around that time, right there is where people will mostly be at home. But I do not want to do anything late-ish after 10 o'clock. Anything past 10, I don't want to do. Because at that point, since we are going to be in different environments, we're also trying to keep it down as well, to try to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But you have to keep in mind, not everybody can probably make 7 o'clock.
That's why I say, in
You know
the
what I'm
meantime, whoever is there, we'll work with what we can with them.
Yeah.
So when that time comes, if the person shows up, then we could work with them on what they have to do. And then once they're done, we don't need them in any other scenes. They're free to go.
All right.
And also, the second thing I want to say is that as flaky as Rojas' schedule would be, I was worried that I was worried as soon as I heard that we could do a weekly instead of a bi-weekly, because I was hoping kind of bi-weekly because of his schedule and like how his schedule is to him. But I was thinking a bi-weekly and then for getting it all done and everything by the third Wednesday of the third week. But
I feel you. I guess it really just depends on how much Jonathan Rojas can handle at the end of the day, because he's going to be the one, putting it together. I'm sure you're going to be helping him too. That, like, the weekly versus bi-weekly argument, I can't really say, because the last time I did anything frequently was the Video Blog Wars, and we didn't have set days for that. We just filmed whenever we felt like it and then put it up. So this is actually a field that I'm not really familiar with. Like, I wouldn't know, if people can handle a weekly thing. A weekly show does sound like a lot, you know what I'm saying? But it all comes down to if Aaron and Rojas feels that they can handle a weekly show. They can handle basically shooting every week and uploading every week pretty much, because it's like, let's say if you shoot on Thursday, the next week you have to put it up on Wednesday, and then that week maybe on Thursday or Friday you have to shoot again, and then the next week put it up, and blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. So it really just depends on if you guys can handle that. That's where it really comes down to, if you guys can handle that.
That means the productivity will have to be quick and spot on, because doing one thing after another will be hectic. But this is also important because without like you said, communication is definitely important in this, because without it, it's going to cripple things and it's going to back things up as well.
Exactly. And everyone definitely has to, I'm going to send Rojas and Aaron everyone's contact information and all this kind of stuff. And if you're in it, answer your phones, your Facebooks or whatever. If you can't make it for a particular day, you're not going to get fucking stabbed for it. You can let people know. We're just trying to, maintain a schedule. You know what I'm saying? It's more professional when, instead of just shooting it and then just putting it up whenever and then blah, blah, blah. Because when you do that, then if you don't have a deadline, you'll just go on, and like sometimes there'll probably be weeks without a show. So, definitely the biggest, most important thing is having it uploaded, every Wednesday or whatever day you both decide to do. Making sure that is up, even as late as 11:55 p.m. As long as it's up by Wednesday, that's what counts.
And the last thing I want to say is that, as far as communication, if one line is down, like if your phone is out and you can't pay the bill or whatever the case may be, then if there's a will, then there's a way. There's many ways to get into contact.
Exactly.
There's your internet. If that's down, use your phone. If that's down, use something. There's always something. So there shouldn't be really any
there's
excuses.
no real excuse.
Let someone know, in some way.
Unless your house blew up and your computer was there and your phone was there,
then for
it's
that
a different
case,
story.
Then for that case, use a street phone if you
go use a payphone.
Something. Yeah.
Damien, is there anything you would like to add?
Right now, no. I'm just listening right now. I don't really hear anything that sparks my interest too much, but I'm just...
Another thing I wanted to talk about is what's going to go down in the weekly shows. Now, don't get me wrong. I trust Aaron and Rojas mostly. And the reason I picked both of you to take over JCWA is I feel, team-wise, you both make up for each other's weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? You're more of the creative side. You've been through Jet Central since the first time we've ever wrestled anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You know every storyline in the back of your head. You know everything that has ever went down wrestling-wise in Just Central. You know how I think. You know how my brain works. You know storylines that I like to do. You know direction that storylines go. And then with Rojas, you know, he's technical. He knows how to edit and put things together. He has equipment. You know what I'm saying? So both of you can really be a dream team. And the only reason why I'm suggesting a few ideas is because this is just some things I personally want to see in the weekly show. As you guys know, Revolution Next will not start until the next big event.
Mm-hmm.
So the first weekly shows are really going to be, I guess Aaron and Rojas, doing things because, what happened at Showdown. Aaron's not going to forget it. And Rojas said it's good for business, blah, blah, blah. And then, rookies will face each other and blah, blah, blah. And it's only, when the next event comes and goes that things are really going to pick up. And another reason I don't want it to start like that is because this is a first for you and Rojas. This is the first time you guys are doing something like this. And I don't want you guys to just, jump in and, oh, my God. You know what I'm saying? Everything, the first episodes, are going to be taken probably a little slower than usual. But, at the same time, I want it to be interesting. I will be at my computer every Wednesday or whenever you do it with popcorn, ready to watch the shows. Because for the first time, I could say I'm a viewer. I could say, wow, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how this is going to happen. So I could watch it as a fan, and it's going to be really important. And, as long as everybody has something to do, all the rookies have something to do, you already know there's going to probably be people joining because there's always people wanting to join. There's going to be maybe heel turns or face turns if you feel they're necessary. Whatever you guys feel, judgment-wise, is going to benefit the most and, bring the most out of it, I'm all for. The only time I probably will be really participating is when the Elite Version 2 stuff starts happening. But that's not going to be for a while. By that time, Revolution Next is, already going to be kind of established. They've already gotten a ton of wins. Elite Version 2 is possibly going to come up, sometime around January. So, that's kind of a while from now. And by that time, there's going to be a shitload of weekly shows. So by that time, you guys should be professionals at it by then. Oh, we could do this, no problem. As far as, let me see, what else could we talk about right quick? Is there any other questions you guys got concerning the, or more specifically you, since you're going to be involved concerning the, the weekly show?
As far as the weekly show goes, and as far as the building up of who's gonna fight who, that's also on my mind. How will these? I know that this is building up to the tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
And afterwards too.
Yeah.
The whole tournament thing right now, you don't have to worry about because for starters, Rojas did come up with an idea of us doing our own little tournament to do this in order for us to actually, which we are going to have down the road, the actual custom-made JCWA world title.
Yeah.
That's not going to be for a while. Right?
Yeah, that.
So
yeah.
that is already on standby. So that's not official yet.
Yeah, right. For right now, we don't want to go too much in the future, and let's focus on the weekly shows for now, and make sure, because if the weekly shows don't succeed, then there won't be events.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what's really important. And yeah, there's not too much to say. Like I said, if Rojas was here, it would be way easier. There would be a lot more to talk about, but
a lot more planning and
yeah.
brainstorming into it too.
But being that he's not, we can only make do with what we got. You already know, if I can think of an accurate amount of people, I would say Jonathan Ortiz would be in it.
Yeah.
Right? Brandon Cox. Jalen Taylor.
Keith Shaw might be.
He will. Well, in John's words, he will. So I can only go by that.
Somebody's word.
Word. With that Joseph dude that was in the Open Invitational Newcomers Battle Royal. So that's about 5. Lorenzo, I'm sure he'll be involved. You're going to definitely need a veteran or two there.
A big if, I'm thinking Xavier.
Xavier Rodriguez.
And as much as
Morgan Wolf.
and as much as I hate to say his name, Crystal.
Crystal Cruz.
Yep.
And like that already is a pretty packed roster for a weekly show. And that doesn't even include possible people that will be in it.
And with those names, what events and what things will take place, what controversies, what matches will take place with the people that's there that we mentioned.
I like that you said that.
Well, the fact that you and Ortiz already have been here for a while now, and you've learned a good decent amount of stuff that you've learned throughout since from Basement Rumble up to now. You're going to be in charge of helping them build them up now. So pretty much now you're going to know what it's like when I have to work with somebody new, or if Damien's got to work with somebody new, because we've done this for a long time. This is nothing new to us.
Yeah, this is okay.
So now this is your job and John Ortiz's job to help the newcomers, because I'm not saying Xavier could be a bad person to be a part of the roster, but these are the people who I still say are green at this point. Keyshawn, you said, right?
Yeah.
The other Joseph kid.
Okay.
And Xavier right now. And
Morgan.
Obviously Morgan, Wolf. And still, Crystal, they're all still green. They don't know much.
Yeah. The top rookies right now, I feel, is Ortiz, Cox, Taylor. Definitely.
So pretty much you three guys are going to be put in matches with them. It'll be tag team matches. It'll be triple threat matches. And I'm going to see how much you learn, because now your job is to make them look good as much as they have to make you look good.
Yeah, true. Because
So,
if they look bad, you look bad, and that messes up the quality of the match.
If one person fucks up, everybody fucks up.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the routine of what's going to go down with you guys for the next couple of weeks, I guess, until the next event happens. Because at that point, then I'll build up a rivalry right there. Because after that event that comes up, that's when Revolution X is coming. And by that point, I'll make my final decisions with Rojas and with you on who's going to be the official team.
Exactly.
I specifically stated numerous times, I at least want 5 people as the team.
Me too.
I
think 5 is perfect because you got the leader and then you got the 4 members. You know what I'm saying?
And like I've been saying before off camera and whatnot, that this is basically a now that the event is done with these weekly shows, is basically another more boost up for the rookies.
Of course, yes.
So
any opportunity
they're
you
getting
guys,
more opportunities.
Yep.
any opportunity you guys have to wrestle is only going to benefit you if you do good, of course.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or
so,
if anyone is like willing to do good.
Exactly.
And improve along the way.
Like, another thing we got to keep in mind is who are faces and who are heels. Because you know that is very, very important with how matches will be set up. You know, Ortiz is a face. Cox, face. Jalen, heel. Keyshawn and Joe, well, mostly Keyshawn, face. Lorenzo, face. Xavier, I have no idea.
Put him as a heel.
You know what I'm saying? Morgan is a heel.
Yeah.
And Crystal is a heel. So, it's balanced out. And basically at any point, Rojas or Aaron may decide to turn someone if, you know, at some point it's not balanced out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be bad if there's a lot of heels and there's like 2 or 3 faces, or vice versa. It has to be in the middle because everybody is gonna be starting mini rivalries in the weekly shows. You already know Ortiz is gonna have a rivalry with Jalen. I could see you having a rivalry with Morgan Wolf for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why. Like I even though he hasn't done much, you know, he's only done 1 match and it was okay at best. I see something in him that, you know, I only see in a few people, and I feel he can be a really good heel to your face.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that would mean that now, all right. With that being said, now I know who to
study
in a way,
basically.
study and practice with.
Exactly.
And most importantly, you have to make sure you and him do practice and at least get a good idea of what you guys are going to do in matches, because Showdown was his first match, so we don't know what to expect from him. So that means you're carrying him.
Yeah.
So your job is, like I said, to make sure he can sell your moves as much as you can sell his moves.
Yeah. Practice before matches.
Yeah.
Anything, you're gonna that's a key factor. Also, as for other rivalries, like after giving Ortiz and Cox a rivalry, the other ones can be whatever I guess you feel at the time would be good. For example, we can do Keyshawn and Xavier. We could, and why? That's where creativity comes into play.
Yeah.
You explain why. Something happened backstage. Someone cheated in a match. You know what I'm saying? And as long as those rivalries continue in the week, basically, the most important thing about this weekly show is what is going to get people to watch next week.
Exactly.
Right? When they watch your show, what is going to make people go, yo, I want to, what's going to happen now? So you already know you're going to basically leave people on a cliffhanger every time. There's always going to be unanswered questions every single week, and that's what's going to keep people coming. If you answer all the questions and everything is all the doors are already set or whatever, then it's there's no reason for next week's show. You know what I'm saying? Everything is set in stone. So it's as long as there's always rivalries, there's always beefs, there's always, more new people coming in. And best believe, I'm always going to be watching the episodes. And more importantly than that, I'm going to be scouting, because once Elite, the Elite version 2 story comes on, I'm not going to do it if there's no one I feel that deserves it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because in Elite, as everyone watching knows, it's being a movie star is not just a group in the wrestling. It's not like you're accepted in this group and then that's it. An Elite is very important. So, when the time comes, I'll come in and set that off. Like I said, that's going to be way into the future. Let's not even worry about that right now. For now, we got a good roster. I don't know, I guess 9 or 10, 11 people probably. You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty damn decent considering it's going to be 1 or 2 matches. That's a pretty good roster. Even if people won't show up, you'll always have enough people to do the matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great. So
at least the essential people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's for the rookies, and this goes out to all the rookies out there, keep proving yourself. Just because I am not the owner of it anymore does not mean I'm not going to continue to pay attention. It's going to be just as important as when you were in the events. I will still be watching the episodes. I will still be studying everybody. And ultimately, that's going to come down to who's going to not only be Revolution next, who's going to join Elite version 2, but who's going to get the bigger pushes, in the JCWA. Because we all know not everyone can get a push all the time. Sometimes people are going to have to job. Sometimes people are going to have to lose. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to suck it up and deal with it. And you know what? If you improve, maybe it won't always be like that. But they're always going to be, a winner and a loser. You know what I'm saying? If you don't win this week, maybe you'll win next week. And if you don't, maybe you'll win the week after that. You know what I'm saying?
On your progress.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I hate disappointments, to be honest. Even through, no matter what rank you are, I hate to see that you try something and then half-ass it in a way.
Yeah.
And I already got my eyes on a few people that I see potential in and whatnot. So, and I'm not going to say no names either. So,
Exactly.
If I see it as, if they disappoint me in a way, I'm just going to be like, it's just like a chip away at my hopes and, in them.
Yeah. And I will still be supporting the JCWA as much as I have always been. You know what I'm saying? If any, wannabe wrestlers hit me up trying to join, I will forward them to the JCWA. I'll forward them to you guys, Also, at times, it would be great if, once in a while a veteran appears. Maybe we can do something like what just happened with Edge. Next week, such and such is coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or, and it doesn't always have to be just for a veteran. It could also be for a new person debuting, because, they do that also.
Of course.
You know, I don't know if you guys are going to have a commercial break on your weekly show or if you're going to advertise sometimes at the end of it. I don't know exactly how you're going to do it.
We'll come up with something at that point.
Or I will also, you know, to get you guys on the right foot, I will be making the last JCWA thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the weekly show intro, and then you guys will just use that anytime. For every weekly show, plop, it's there, and then you just add on to it, you know, at the end of it or whatever.
Pretty much.
And yeah, I mean, like, I was talking to Cox about this. I talked to Rojas about this. I am very, very excited for this weekly show. If it goes the way we're trying to go, and there's a ton of storylines we have planned, and we're not going to say it all tonight, because if we did, this video would be very fucking long. But just know there are amazing, amazing things that we're trying to do here. Amazing storylines, amazing rivalries, like, just like something that's going to make what we're doing now look like, you know, the beginning stages of the JCWA. Like, we're really trying to pull out all the stops and give, you know, the viewers and the fans and everybody that watches our stuff the very best product we can possibly give you. So, with that being said, you know, not everything you're going to like, you know, not everything, but, you know, I have a feeling everything will be done for a reason. And as long as everything you guys do is for a reason or because of something you're trying to do in the long run, then there's no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? And as far as that, yeah, there's nothing else really to say on my side unless you guys have anything to say. I think the weekly show has the potential to be like an amazing product and really continue the JCWA, because there's going to be a lot of slack, obviously, to pick up after Showdown. You know, after the biggest event in the JCWA, where do you go from there? And that's going to be the job of the weekly shows. Just like the Raw after WrestleMania. It's like, okay, all of the biggest rivalries are done. All that happened. Yeah. What the hell do you do next? And that is exactly what the weekly show is. What the hell happens next? What happens with Brandon Cox and John Ortiz? They shook hands. Does that mean they're a team? Are they friends now? You know, what happened with Jonathan Rojas? You know, did Aaron Benham and Chris Lorenzo get the answers? What I like about Showdown is it gave you guys a lot to work with afterwards. You know, it left doors open and it left questions, you know, unanswered. You know what I'm saying? So for you and Rojas, it's just your job to combine creativity with technicals and just really just put on an interesting show.
Exactly.
You know, so and I'm excited and I want the best. Sometimes I'll try to get a veteran to come in and, you know, I don't know, do a cameo or maybe stick around. You never know with people, so like and I'm always gonna be advertising. I'm one of an admins of this wrestling page. It got like about 4,000 something likes now. I'll probably also be promoting the weekly show on there as well. You know, get more people watching it and things like that. And that's all I have to say. So do you guys have any last words?
I'm good.
Bottom line to it is I already know me and Rojas have most of the hard work to do. Everybody else just has to do one simple task. Make a phone call.
Up.
Message us on Facebook. Let us know that you're coming. You're not coming. We're good to go.
Exactly.
That's all. That's the simple task that everybody else really has.
If you're not showing up,
then there's no show.
Then yeah. All right. And Damien, what about you?
No, I'm just like you. I'm excited to see what it's gonna bring.
We're viewers for once.
You know,
like we get to watch it.
I want to see how good people are gonna get. The new people coming in, how good they're gonna get, and the rivalries are gonna be interacting with one another. So I'm just happy to see that, you know, it's actually gonna go somewhere.
Me too. I'm very excited, especially, you know, not only for the rookies that are here, but the ones that will be debuting at the weekly shows, because these are going to be people that I have never even worked with before. So it's just going to make everything exciting, you know, like an exciting product is what Aaron and Rojas will be giving you, or trying to give you at least, and I hope it all works out. So this is the first part of the you know, JCWA meeting. This is only, you know, some of what we're gonna be you know, talking about, but you know, as long as we got a lot of the basics, I guess, down pack, you know, in terms of location and things like that. But once we get Jonathan Rojas, we can really decide, you know, even more things. So thank you everybody for watching, and yeah, look forward to the weekly shows. Peace out.